What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy D Dyson. So, it is officially wrapped up. It's officially done. Queen of the South season 4, cuatro. And I loved it. I loved how you still had reoccurring issues from season 3 and how Teresita is building her business in New Orleans, which is Louisiana is where I'm from. So I was really happy to see that and see how she is expanding her empire as the lead jefe. And she ran through a lot of opposition this season, I must say. Knowing that, I felt like she went through so much. She survived Camila, Epifanio. If she survived El Santo, I feel like she can go through anything or anybody, because to me, last season with El Santo was, to me, the greatest challenge that you can pretty much go through. Like, that dude is on another level of, I forgot how you say, like, Dia de Muerto or the Day of the Dead. It's off the tip of my tongue, but he really, that's his religion. Like, it's all voodoo. So if you can survive that, then you can pretty much go through anything. And with her being in New Orleans, the biggest opposition to Teresita and her business was Judge Lafayette. This is a slippery dude, man. She really had to go through the judge for everything, as far as paying this dude off for information, paying for him to stop the war between her and Marcel, which I love, by the way, because he can provide and be a considerable ally in helping her. I don't know where this dude is getting his men from, but this dude got men out the yin yang. And even when she went against El Gordo and from Miami, I just knew, okay, yeah, that's where she's going to expound upon her business next. And I love that she made friends and made alliances with, I believe her name is Emilia, the Russian Tsar, the drug Tsar, and how she got Teresa put in contact with her cousin, which is like, hey, you get in contact with him, you get in business with him, that's like going to bed with the devil, man. Like, he's that bad. So I know next season it's definitely going to be dealing with Russians, and then knowing that she's going to probably move her empire to Miami. How it's saying Queen of the South, and she's going bit by bit, city to city, state to state, running the whole South of the U.S. I love that. I've never seen a show like that where it's just each season she's in a different sector of the South. She started off in Dallas, then you went to Phoenix, now you in New Orleans, you're going up to Miami, and probably a season after that, you're going to be in Atlanta or go up to New York. So that's why I really love that aspect of how she is just conquering the South. And you had some new faces. Along with Pote, you had Javier. I didn't know, I'm not sure if Javier was there last season. He probably was, probably a couple episodes. But Javier, is the cousin of Boaz. And we all know that Boaz is a loose cannon. He's crazy as shit and just accepts no prisoners, And Javier is a real extension of that. When the judges, it all really unraveled and everything was going smoothly until Javier killed the judge's nephew, which deserved it. And just, I knew that episode when you had the judge's nephew and the judge's son. You had, I want to say El Gordo's men was there, or somebody else was there, like I think Marcel. And you had Boaz to show up. I was like, oh my gosh, all at Teresa's bar. And I'm just kind of like, this is going to be a recipe for disaster. Like, somebody's going to end up dying, and it end up having Javier and Boaz beating the judge's nephew for talking crazy, beating him to death. And then he tried to hide it, and we all went so on and so forth with how he tried to dispose of the body, him and Boaz. They burned the trunk of the car, and then that dirty cop that worked for the judge was just on their trail. So everything just ensued from there. That Teresa has been just a rival of the judge ever since then. With all the payments that she was paying him off with, it just wasn't enough. He really wanted her bad, and I just loved how everything was just unfolding. Like it was just some of those times you were just like you didn't know what was going on, and then out of nowhere, boom, Pote is looking for Tony, and then Kellyanne comes out of nowhere. Here comes Kellyanne's. I didn't like her. I still kind of don't. You know, a little cokehead white girl. I just was like, she can't be trusted, man. Like she's with James. You just cannot trust Kellyanne at all. But she kind of redeems herself in this season. Like, I know you can't trust me, but I'll do everything I can to help you and make sure that you got that help. And she proved to be an ally at the end when it found out that Teresa's financial advisor was stealing money from her and she had no money to pay off the judge anymore. Kellyanne found that out. So, you know, in the end, Teresa was like, hey, I'll make you head of my financial, you know, kind of like being a financial manager with my money. And that's how you'll be a part of the family. And plus, you know, Pote really loves her. You know, he saved her a couple times last season, saved her this season. So Pote really have love for her. I don't say he loves her, but he has love for Kellyanne to be like, hey, you know, you ain't really going anywhere and you always end up being back around us. So, you know, Pote kind of fell for her, but Pote still kind of has that resentment, that doubt. You know, you can tell that he has some type of doubt, but he's like, I'll let you, you know, I'll try to take care of you as best I can because you're just not going anywhere. And it was tragic to see that, you know, how Tony's story unfolded. I just knew Tony was going to die this season because Tony was being more of a dick episode by episode, and he just wasn't satisfied. And then after a little while, and it was kind of like, yeah, he kind of calmed down. But I totally get it. He's very traumatized, you know, by everything that surrounded in his life. His mom died, his dad died. You know, he's been on the run for so long. So, you know, he has no stability. And when he comes across Teresa, he's like, I want to work for you. I know what you do. I know who you are. And he overhears Pote saying that, yeah, I had to kill his dad, you know, because I was a loyal soldier for Epifanio and his dad was stealing. So I killed his dad. So he overheard that, and ever since then he wanted to kill Pote. And they kind of ease him out of that. He eases himself out of that, you know, by, you know, making these nice drawings and want to go to school and want to stay. And she really wanted to stay in New Orleans for Tony to be like, he needs stability in his life. And it gets to that episode when, boom, you know, I just knew when he was about to pull that car up, they had a car bomb, blew it up, boom, Tony's dead. Puts Teresa in a hospital, kind of like coma, you know, and now it's just all haywire. So they're believing El Gordo was behind the hit, so they go out and go kill El Gordo behind that. And not knowing that it was the judge all along. Like, the judge had that dirty cop have some of his informants plant that bomb and blew up the car trying to get Teresa. And everything comes to a head after that. Everything comes to, you know what? It was the judge. You know, she finds out some type of way, it was the judge. And even with King George, I love George. George, you could tell George was a smuggler. He's not about that soldier life. And I wouldn't be either. You know, he was like, I was trying to make sure that you were good in the beginning, but I just can't be a soldier. I just rather be a smuggler. I'm used to ports. I'm used to being on the sea, you know. And in the midst of all that, he falls for Birdie, which was the bartender at the bar. And they kind of fire up like a little relationship. And he would just basically like, I wish nothing but the best for you. I hope you stay safe. And she becomes a casualty of war. So now when George hears of this, at kind of like towards the end, he's pissed at Marcel and his men, like, how dare you, you know, kill Birdie? She was innocent. We need to go to war with them. They need to go because they killed somebody really, really innocent. And that was good to me. And Marcel was, you know, basically like, hey, it's a, you know, casualty of war. Even Teresa was telling George, yeah, we took care of that. And then eventually finding out that they didn't. So George was pretty pissed off about that, but it's nothing he could really do because he understands that she's a casualty of war. So all ahead to, I know I skipped over a lot of things, but it all comes to the season finale where they find Javier. Javier finally confesses to say that what he did and why it kick-started everything with the war with the judge. And Teresa was like, you know what? There's nothing else we can do. I can't pay this dude enough money. You know, I'm a give you up. You know what I'm saying? There's like nothing we can do. And I love that scene where The judge gets his hands on Javier. They beat him up and they put him in the trunk. They're about to do the same way like he did his nephew. Put him in the trunk, light it on fire. And as soon as they light it, Javier jumps up and grabs the dirty cop with him, like, you're coming with me. And I was like, dude, you have been loyal and just a soldier to the end. All because they killed Boaz and Javier's, Boaz's ex-fiance and Javier's lover. So, that whole story unfolded where she left Boaz to go with Javier, falls in love with Javier, and hiding from Boaz, living with Javier. And then she was there while he was disposing of the body of the nephew. So they kill, I forgot her name, but they kill her, Javier's girlfriend, and then, it just spirals out of control from there. I know I'm jumping all over the place a little bit, but, like I said, all ahead to the season finale where Boaz is in charge of Miami for the meantime with Teresita, and that kind of gives Boaz a reassurance, like, man, you really are heifer. I'll roll with you. I was kind of against you, but I'll really roll with you because, you trying to do things right. And I think Boaz really does see that. Like, she's different from a lot of different people in her position. Like, man, if you give me something like this, then I'm really am rocking with you. And I like that. I'm like, knowing that Boaz is a loose cannon, but he just trusts Boaz enough to be like, man, anytime I needed you, you were always there. So although you crazy, I respect that. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this season is just like, man, there's going to be a lot of things coming up for next season that was built upon this one. And then at that very last second, she's getting on the plane. She's leaving from the judge. Like, man, we got to get the hell out of here. Guess who shows up? Freaking James. I'm like, dude, aren't you dead, man? Like, you should be dead. Die. Go away. And James shows up with the, shot in his stomach, and all he says, they're coming for you. I don't know who that is. Could be the DEA, could be the FBI, could be Judge Lafayette, could be the old cartel. It could be Camila. We don't know. I truly forgot what happened to James in season 3. I forgot what happened to his ass. But he just shows up at the last second. Like, they're coming for you. I was like, man, I couldn't get enough of it. I was tuned in every Thursday, man. I'm like, I couldn't get enough of this season of what's going to happen next because you just truly didn't. And I loved how they had about 14 episodes. So it was on for a while because it fleshed out all of this season for everything to come to a head to move on from New Orleans. Like, she went through a lot this season. But like I said, she survived El Santos. She could survive anybody because I feel like she should have been dead with El Santos. A lot of people wouldn't even escape that situation, but she did. So kudos to Teresita. I can't wait to see where she's going to be at in season 5. I'm here for it. I've been here since the beginning. It is really a rags to riches Scarface, female Scarface story, and I love it because it's being fleshed out to see the whole story. I love that. Season 4, 10 out of 10. I love it. I love it. I love it. More from Alice Braga. I love her as an actress. She's playing Teresita very well. I hope that they put Camila back in season 5 because I do kind of miss Camila being there and just always being that thorn on her side or having her work together with Teresita. I would love to see that. So, if you guys enjoyed my review of Queen of the South season 4, subscribe to my channel. Post, comment down below, and like the video. It's your boy, D Dyson. Peace.